Ave, welcome. This is segment 1 of separation between the myth of fiction and fact, lies and truth, of Satanism and how the world perceives Satanism. The first thing I'd like to do is to tell you a little bit about Satanism. We live our lives by a strict code of laws, rules, and regulations. We live by the 9 satanic statements, the 9 satanic sins, the 11 satanic rules of the earth, the 11 adversarial doctrines of the earth, the 13 laws of the brotherhood, and the 21 satanic points. However, there is another that we follow, which is called the Al-Jawah. It is the Black Book of Satan. The Black Book of Satan reveals much like the 10 Commandments to Christianity. Think of it as our personal Bible from Satan. Satanism has nothing to do with Christianity, no matter what the world perceives it to be. We're not in it for the glory. We're not in it for the popularity. It is about serving Satan in what he and his demons want from us, or need from us, which 9 times out of 10 is nothing, for they don't need us. We need them a lot more than they need us. Therefore, we need to respect them. Now, with that said, I'd like to take a moment to discuss the world's views of Satanism and witchcraft. The first thing is the Hollywood-produced films, such as Warlock, Wishmaster, or the movies Satanic, for an example, and Birthright. Hollywood has made it so that there is good and evil, much like the Judeo-Christian society. Christianity, Islamic traditions, Hebrewitic traditions, and Amish traditions. These Christian-based ideals make it so that anything not of their God is of Satan. Anton Zandalave, in the 9 Satanic Statements, number 9, put it like this: Satan has been the best friend the church has ever had, for it has been he who has kept it in business all these years. This speaks truth, because no matter how many occultists have given up their lives, we must remember that even Christianity, the Christians, have given up their lives as well. These things are relevant because of history. He who does not learn from history is doomed to repeat it. So this is what I want to talk about. I want to separate the myths, the facts from fiction, the truth from lies. The world believes that Christianity is the top dominant religion. That is true. That is because they have overwhelming numbers. They believe in their God so wholeheartedly that they are willing to die for it. However, they are also ignorant. They are closed-minded. And this is why. Anything not of their church or what they have been told or read, they stick their nose or their face in the sand or the proverbial altar. If they don't know about it, they will simply tell you, and I quote, one of 2 things. The first is, I will pray about it, and I'll get back to you after I contemplate it. And 2, why don't you go down to the altar and pray to God about it? This is their way of doing things. It's that duality of a double negative. They lead you into a state of falsity through God is the only way, but yet you can't do it on your own. And it has made humanity weak. It has made your minds dull. And because of this, you have been duped into a state of false morality. Satanism is a philosophy of the flesh. We embrace the 7 deadly sins. We embrace Satan and his demons and what they have to offer us, because it is a mutual, beneficial partnership. It is not a one-sided where you have to bow down on your knees. We're not Christians. We serve equally and freely with Satan and his demons. We're willing to fight for our God and the demons. The difference between the occult and a cult is this. The occult has rules, regulations, and laws that we must follow because it's a balance of equality. The cult, on the other hand, breaks the law every day. They sit there and they have what the world refers to as prostitution rings. They have childbearing cults or even child sacrificing rings. This is called human trafficking, and it is against the law in just about every country. But people do not realize this. Satanism and the occult have, like I said, laws, rules, and regulations. For an example, in Satanism, our 2 highest laws are, number 1, self-preservation, and 2, self-gratification. This means that anything that brings the individual is a good thing, as long as it does not violate the number 1 highest law, which is self-preservation. A Satanist will not violate anything that harms him or herself. This is what the world needs to know. Now, with Hollywood and the church, they have created movies such as Warlock 1, 2, and 3, Wishmaster 1, 2, and 3, Satanic, Birthright, The Howling, Paranormal Activity 1 through 5, The Omen, and many, many more to show that Christianity and their God is dominant. That God and Christianity is the almighty force of good. But yet they forget that their empire was built on bloodshed. You look back at the Dark Ages, the Holy Wars, the Crusades, the Burning Times. How many people did the church crucify, burn at the stake, and murder? And that's not even including raping, pillaging, and slaughtering thousands. On top of this, their God, Jehovah, has supposedly ended the world once by a flood, and has threatened to end the world yet again at the end times. But here we are 2,500 years later, after Christianity was created, and that Christ, their supposed Savior, has risen from the dead to sit on the throne. But here's the thing. Let me tell you about the Bible. It is a bunch of doctrines stolen from much older traditions. You look at the holidays of today. Within a day or two surrounding that holiday is a pagan holiday. The Bible itself is a grimoire of demonology. There are 15 entities, 15 that are mentioned in the Bible. The Bible itself clearly states that Satan is the master of this world. He is the Lord of this world. Genesis chapter 3, verse 22 clearly states this. Behold, here is man who has become like one of us, lest he put his hand forth and partake of the tree of life, eat, and live forever. That's the King James Version. But verse 5 in chapter 3 of Genesis clearly states that God feared man's awakening. For if they ate of that tree of good and evil, that knowledge of good and evil, then they would become gods. Well, here we are. Even Genesis 6 shows that angels had children and took for them wives of the daughters of men, verses 1 through 5. Matthew's chapter 4 clearly shows that Satan has all the power, and that Christ himself, well, was too stubborn to do anything, to take that chance to learn more. And he became their God. Wow, interesting. But here's the thing. Satanism, as I said, has nothing to do with Christianity. We don't go out looking for wars. We do not sit there and murder, rape, and pillage. We serve ourselves. We seek to better ourselves as individuals. And this is the difference between a cult and the occult. Because man is always going to live by their nature. And it is much easier to judge, hate, and destroy rather than to actually follow through to create and love. With that said, this is the end of segment 1. And I will put forth the second video within a day or two. And further the explanation of Satanism. Fact from fiction, truth and lies. Hail Satan, and have a blessed day.